assimilated by the Hellenics, is suspended indefinitely, but not expelled following investigations into its conduct, presumably financial. A year-long investigation which culminated in an extraordinary general meeting of the RLEF membership found that the HRLFL had acted in a manner prejudicial to the interests of the RLEF and International Rugby League. The RLEF felt it was important to impose special administrative measures to arrest further deterioration of the situation and rebuild the sport in Greece, said the RLEF General Manager, Danny Kazanjian.
Yeah, basically it comes down to like fixtures being cancelled at short notice in the European Championships, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Not really being upright and honest with the position of what they can get put on the field, and that kind of thing seems to be cited as part of this. I'm sure League Culture will have it fully covered on their May episode. For sure, you would expect.
That's it. But good luck to everyone at the RLEF, including General Manager Danny Kazanjian.
Okay.
Just happy with the way I said Kazanjian.
Yeah, you did well.
Because I was all the way through it going, don't say Kasabian, don't say Kasabian. And
You've just said it.
No, but then I didn't say it. Right, okay. And finally, this one will cheer you all up. Warrington forward Mitchell Dodds has revealed how he escaped from an attempted carjacking in Spain last month as he made his way back to the UK following the Wolves' Super League win over the Catalan Dragons. Which begs the question, why on earth was he driving? Is he some sort of Dennis Bergkamp type figure that doesn't take place?
No, he was driving to Barcelona to get his plane.
Will this become apparent as I continue to read?
Oh, have you not caught with this story yet?
Not fully, no. I figured I thought he might have been carjacked around Cheshire or somewhere.
No.
Accompanied by the club's head of performance services, Ben Sterling, the pair drove from Perpignan to Barcelona, there it is, to catch their flight the following day. They were pulled over by some shady characters posing as local police. So when we were driving back, it was around 5:30pm.
Hold on. You're not doing accents?
Or is it the Australian prop?
Yeah.
So when we were driving back, it was around 5:30pm. It just can't do it for a very long period. 5:30pm. We didn't really know where we were going, the Australian prop explained. So we stopped at a service station to get some directions, but they didn't speak any English. I can't do this for the entire thing.
Go on then.
We seemed to be going through this industrial estate, and we didn't know if these people had followed us from the service station and they'd known we're foreigners, but this car, it looked like a Nissan Pulsar. It was pretty bashed up. They came flying up next to us, and they were flashing their lights and beeping the horn. And the guy in the passenger seat was showing a badge or something, trying to coast us off the road. So we pulled up a bit, and this fellow said, passports, where are you from? We said, England. There was one bloke outside the car, and for inside it, it was just a bit sus. He didn't see me at first as I was in the back seat, and then he said, where are you from? I said, Australia. He asked where our passports were, and Ben said they were back with our hotel, and they're expecting us just down the road. The window was down just a crack, and he put his arm through and tried to go through Ben's pockets. He was saying, cocaine. After that, Ben grabbed his arm and said, whoa, and kind of pulled him up a bit. And then they must have got spooked a bit, and they just got in their car and bailed. Dodds admits that he and Sterling were very fortunate. We were sitting there for 5 minutes thinking, what the fuck just happened, he reflected. I don't know what they would have done, steal our passports or steal our passports, or steal them and try and sell them, or bribe them back to us. They were posing as cops. I don't know how things work over there. They could have been undercover, but when you think about it, they were sketchy as. We were thinking, did we just get away with our lives there, or what? In the hindsight of things, my leg doesn't feel as bad now, so that was a bit different. It was a bit of life experience. Oh, very good.
The story speaks for itself, doesn't it? The quotes speak for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny.
It does take a brave band of robbers to kind of, I think once you sort of peer in the back of the car and see a guy of the physical presence of a Mitchell Dodds, you might think twice.
Question would be, why is Dodds fucking sat in the back, Miss Daisy style? What's that all about?
It might have been, is he stretching his leg out? Because he's not playing, is he? Maybe he has to keep his leg elevated,
maybe, yeah, because he did break his
extended or something.
He did break his ankle, didn't he?
It does remind me a little bit of the other story about sportsmen and kind of burglary sort of things that I know, which is the story of Duncan Ferguson, you know, the Everton centre forward from years ago.
Yeah.
Drunken Duncan, he got burgled, and basically the two lads that burgled him ended up, one of them was under his foot, and he had a shotgun pointed at the other while he rang the police.
Didn't you tell this story when we spoke about Jamal Idris earlier in the season?
Oh, I don't know, maybe so. It's my go-to I feel sorry for criminals story. So there you go. On that note, that's the news from around the world of Rugby League, well and truly taken care of. Let's take a look back now at round 10 of Super League. Okay, so round 10 of Super League then. I tuned in on Thursday night anticipating quite an even, exciting game. Hull KR were coming off the back of a big win over Leeds, and Catalan are an impressive side, and actually what got served up was quite a mismatch, Mark. 40 points to 0 in favour of the Dragons.
It was one of the worst games that's been on TV so far this season.
It was done as a competition, wasn't it, within sort of half an hour?
Yeah, we were saying earlier, before we started recording, that we can't remember too many really good games this year, and this was certainly...
Yeah, I mean,
won't be remembered too long after this week.
No, I mean, I'd temper that statement by saying that I think it's exciting that so many people can beat so many people, and that it's a lot tougher to kind of predict results at the moment. But you're right, in terms of there being, a lot of exciting... It's maybe not been that as high a standard given the number of injuries that have come into play, and maybe that's had an impact on why people can beat each other. But yeah, this was pretty dire, really, wasn't it? Unless you're a Catalan Dragons fan. Yeah,
and the Catalans played really well, and they took their opportunities that were given to them pretty well, and they defended the line quite well as well when they had to.
Mm-hmm.
They certainly you never really felt like Hull KR were ever getting it together enough to actually score. Even when opportunities were put on a plate for them, they didn't manage to score. I'm thinking of the Tony Gigo tackle on...
who did he get back?
On James Greenwood.
Yeah. The one that took so long to come back as not a headshot.
And no try.
Yeah. It was a long drawn out decision, that one. There were a couple of long drawn out decisions in this.
I mean, it's always a bit weird, isn't it, when Catalans have these big wins away from home in small stadiums.
Yeah.
With not massive crowds, and it's just so quiet.
Yeah.
At least they had that group of school kids,
coincidental school children,
that had been there. So at least you heard some singing at one point. But like when Jody Broughton went in for both his tries, it was just a pin drop situation, weren't it?
Yeah.
So
I think as much of that though was probably an element of shock if you're a Hull KR fan as well, because they will have probably given. Look, the last 20 minutes against Hull FC notwithstanding, they were coming into this off some reasonable form and a bit of an uptick in their performances, particularly with the result against Leeds. So they will have probably thought that this was a winnable fixture if they got everything right, and they never came out of the changing rooms for me. And Catalan Dragons played superbly well in the forwards, just bossed them in the forwards, and played a bit more. Definitely, got the opportunity to make more creative. Hull KR didn't touch the ball for the first 11 minutes.
No, and Catalan shut the game down and basically gave up a little bit for the last 10 minutes. So it was...
Well, I must admit, to not having seen the ending of this, but I did turn off at 40-0. So maybe I picked the right time to sort of say goodnight on that.
And of course, Willie Mason crowned his return to Hull KR in a way that...
They went down well with the locals.
There was one local, Tom Andrews, I think.
All right.
He plays the Dream Team League and has been in touch a few times before. He had a bet on Mason to be last try scorer.
Yeah.
Won a pretty penny.
Oh well.
So he was happy.
That's going to soften the blow if nothing else, isn't it?
Yeah, so remarkably, the Robins actually only missed 6 more tackles than the Dragons. However, they also had 6 fewer clean breaks, 1 to 7, and 1.3 metres per carry, worst average gain on almost 500 less total metres and 35 fewer carries. So they just never had the ball to do enough, and when they did have the ball, they didn't threaten. Jody Broughton with 2 tries, 166 metres and 3 clean breaks. Tony Gigo with a try assist and 164 metres. Richie Myler, who I would say was my man of the match.
Yeah.
He got a try assist, 5 tackle balls, 102 metres, 2 clean breaks. And Willie Mason had his most effective game. He ran the ball quite hard in his first spell, didn't he, in that early stage when they had a lot of the ball. And then he scored the try in his second spell. 1 try and 112 metres. For the Hull KR side, Kieran Dixon gets in the stats roundup for 102 metres, and James Greenwood with 47 tackles. They're 2 players who stood out for wrong reasons at various times during the game. I was going to say,
he's made 102 metres, but at what cost in terms of his defensive performance from Kieran Dixon? Because again, his weaknesses just keep getting found out, don't they?
I suppose for both of them you have to temper the mistakes that were there with the fact that they have put in a strong effort when few others in the side have had anything to redeem them.
True.
So that's what you would say, I suppose. But yeah, his issues taking high kicks.
Yeah. The other thing I enjoy about the Catalan Dragons is listening to people try and pronounce Gigo. There's just so many different ways of doing it. I heard Gigo at one point. I heard Gijo. Both from Phil Clark, it has to be said.
I heard Jewel.
So you couldn't. You heard what?
They kept banging on about some French rapper.
Did they?
Yeah, that's what the celebration was all about.
Oh, is that what that?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Right. Okay. So, plenty of people got in touch on this one on Walker. So it's about time that defence gives nothing away. This should happen more often. Respect to the defence. Meat trays all round. Do you think it means meat pies?
No, it means trays of meat are going to get handed out by.
Oh, I see.
By Bernard for celebrating the tremendous defensive effort.
Oh well, of course, meat trays all round them. Most notably to Gigo, Gift, Inu, and Milo. Bosk needs to kick though. Best moment was Big Willie takes them up the KRs. Very good. Tough on KR though, too many injuries for that side. Jeff Jefferson got in touch. Catalan would have rivalled Fort Knox for defence tonight, yet despite being second, Clark still feels that they're a disappointment. He does not like the Catalan Dragons, does he, Phil Clark?
I think he does.
Alright. The impression I get from whenever he talks about them, he just thinks that they're...
I think that they've not achieved yet, have they? They've not won a trophy yet, despite all the star names that they've had over the years. So I think that's possibly
this is
what
definitely
it is.
The best opportunity they've got, though, this season, with the names they've got. I would argue that this is the most star-studded team, if you want to use that term of phrase, team that they put together.
They had a team that had Stacey Jones and Adam Mogg and...
I'm not saying that they weren't great players.
A couple of forwards as well. I can't think of.
But across the board, though, there's rep class.
Yeah, and the French players in the side are experienced and seasoned players now, rather than players who are making a step up. You feel?
Yeah, absolutely. Brian Davies, foot in touch to make a dead ball does not negate good skill. The good skill is to kick the ball a foot further away from touch so the defender can't make it dead. Absolutely, I agree. Great effort from Catalans to nil the Rovers away from home. And,
I don't agree.
Do you not?
No, I think if the ball's going to stop in the field of play, then that's great execution. It's also good positioning from the fullback to be there when it's still moving, or the winger, or what have you. Yeah. But no, I'm in the camp of I'd change that rule.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I don't mind it.
No, I will. I think it rewards negative play to me rather than positive play, because you get the same effect from just booting the ball dead 20 rows back behind the stand as you do from putting in a kick that would stop in the field of play if it wasn't for a bloke nudging it or touching it when he's out.
I feel like it rewards strong defensive positioning, and I quite like that.
No.
Okay.
We'll have to agree to disagree.
We will. Anyway, Elliot Wrench, I think this review will be short and sharp. Catalan continue to impress. Their away hoodoo has gone, and Taylor is great to watch as he steamrollers defenders. Hull KR, where were they? I expected more. Tim G Radio got in touch. Always lovely to hear from Tim. Another one to put in the Y file that's growing from a low light reel to a 3 DVD box set. If nothing else, this game and the FC debacle prove that it's not injuries or coaching that's the problem. It's the players and our sheer inability to defend. The Milo try was particularly embarrassing. Where do we go from here? Huddersfield. Fair enough.
Well, don't they play...
They play Huddersfield next, don't they, in a couple of weeks' time?
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, because they've got the Challenge Cup this weekend.
Yeah, who've they got in the Cup?
I don't recall off the top of my head.
Rochdale?
I'd be agreeing with you for the sake of it.
I
really can't recall. And the last word on this one we'll give to Al Witz. Well, put simply, Catalan were dominant from the opening minute. Players like Myler and Broughton seem to be enjoying themselves, which is good to see. KR had nothing going forward and didn't really look like scoring. Interesting to see how Catalan take this result into the Saints game. Yes, it will.
Yeah, because that's a real test, that one.
Yeah, that's going to be a cheeky one, isn't it?
They Widnes have Rochdale, I apologise. Hull Kingston Rovers are at home to Oldham.
You would hope that they would win that.
Well, Oldham have been throwing a few surprises up.
They have, and they're well coached.
Else we'll get to later.
They are well coached, yes. Okay, so on Friday night then, over at the KCOM Stadium, it was Hull FC 37, Huddersfield 20, and Huddersfield just continued to be unable to buy a win, really. Getting some points, but their defence continues to be pretty leaky.
There was 10,557 people there, so I assume 57